Hey guys, Ollie here from Team Liquid. I'm here on the terrace of HomeStory Cup 10 in Krefeld. On day 3, I'm here with EG.DeMusliM. How are you doing?
Really, really well. Happy to be here.
That's cool. How have you been enjoying your HomeStory Cup so far?
HomeStory Cup's always great, you know, like all of my best friends are here from all over, and even Rotterdam came to join this time from LA, so yeah, I got a really good group of lads here, and already some cool stories have been made, so yeah, I have a great time.
Okay. You've obviously also been competing here. How did you feel your games went?
I mean, I lost 1-2 to TLO and 1-2 to Hearthstone. I haven't had a computer for a while, so practicing was quite hard. I had to keep going to a net cafe if I wanted to play, so I haven't been able to practice as much as I wanted to. But, you know, I kind of proved that I can still take maps off these guys. I left one of my games very prematurely, but honestly, I feel that both those guys deserved to go through more than I did, even though Hearthstone got knocked out as well. But yeah, these things happen.
Okay. Talking a bit more about competing, I'm sure you're familiar with the changes coming to WCS next year. How do you think these are going to affect you as a player?
I'm way more... I want time to speed up so badly, just so we can start experiencing like a year down the line. I mean, WCS looks really cool, the fact that they're combining everything that's not Korea. So you'll have the Europeans play with the Europeans, and then eventually they'll play with the Americans. I feel it's as fair as it could be. I think it also helps the American scene, purely because they get to practice for playing against people from elsewhere. You know, it's more motivating for everybody, but also it gives the foreigners a chance, which I know that kind of sucks because you want the best players from everywhere, but I feel that the Koreans that kind of lived in America, or like played in America and played in Europe, I felt that if you get all those guys competing together all the time, such as like the Tasias, the J-Dongs, and then in Europe you've got the MCs and the MMAs, like these guys are very good. But the fact that they don't have to practice for the Korean GSL, I feel that's a big, big letdown. Like when I saw guys like MMA and MC leave that scene in J-Dong and Tasia, it really, really saddened me. But now that the fact they have to play there, that's really cool. It's going to make that exciting, and it gives everybody else a chance too. And yeah, I'm looking very forward to it.
Okay. I actually talked to Hearthstone about this recently. His main complaint about it was that perhaps the skill level in the foreign scene would go down a bit, since the Koreans don't necessarily have to play on the EU and NA ladder anymore. Do you think that's going to affect practice as much as he thinks?
I think people didn't play on North America anyway at all. Like, even if you had to play in WCS, they made a rule where you had to get a certain amount of games played, but people just cheesed every time, so it wasn't valid practice anyway. In Europe, though, like there have been like Koreans living here for a while, like 40G. Then you've got the GOM house, or when I say GOM house, the house with MC and Hyunin. So practice was cool, but that's if they chose to ladder or if they chose to practice against you. Like, I have a few practice partners that are some of those Korean guys, but on ladder, I don't think it's actually going to change that much for me personally.
Okay. Probably the biggest thing in next year is probably going to be Legacy of the Void, if it does come out next year. If you had to pinpoint one change they're making that excites you the most personally, which would it be?
That excites me the most? I really like the fact that they've made it not an expansion. They've made it a standalone game. I think that's very smart. And that makes me excited to see how many new people it can bring in again. Because if they had like a second expansion, having to buy the whole series or whatever, it's kind of a bit daunting. But this, I think that's what excites me, just having more people get to know and love StarCraft.
Okay. As a Terran player, what do you think about the new Terran units and mechanics?
I mean, David Kim, you know when you have a unit that's broken beyond repair, like the Warhound, that you eventually have to remove it, like, you know, that's cool. But when you then re-implement that unit, but it now has wheels and shoots like a phoenix and way better range and hits air units, it's just called a Cyclone, and it's way more imbalanced than the Warhound ever was. Like, you know, like, to be fair, like it's alpha. I don't think they really tested out these things, and they're going to have lots of time to do that. But yeah, I really liked the look of that unit, even though it was beyond broken. Like getting units that you have to micro with seems really cool. The Herc with the grapple thing, I don't really understand how I'm going to put that unit to use. Like, because right now that's 100 minerals, 100 gas, and like I could probably almost get a Cyclone with that. So like everything that I think about that's new for Terran, I'm like, well, I can get a Cyclone instead. So, you know, I am looking forward to it. The siege tank thing, where you can like pick it up in siege mode and drop it. I think they're really cool changes, but I don't see a lot of these things sticking. Like battle cruisers being able to teleport across the map. That's kind of cool. Like I don't really know how to utilize that yet. But the mineral change in the worker count, like they needed to revamp the game. They really did. Like the swarm host stuff, it's very, very tedious, very boring, but what they're doing with StarCraft, they're making it a brand new game again, and that's exciting, not just for like casual guys. The whole pro scene are very, very excited about that and want to like play it and test it out. So I think it's cool. Okay.
Speaking of ridiculous and broken things, have you had any chance to play on the new old ladder maps?
Yeah.
What do you think about those?
Well, it's really fun actually. Like, I mean, I'm Terran, I'm biased, but these maps are the maps that were around back when I was actually really good. So like, it feels cool and nostalgic for me because they are all broken. Like, they're very good for Terran, they're very good for dropping, which is something that I love to do. Like, very good for blink all-ins. It's just having like 2 gold bases in the middle. Like, it's all ridiculous, but I'm actually having fun with it. But if I have to play these maps in tournaments, I feel very sorry for people because, yeah, dude, it's broken.
Yeah, a lot of people have been complaining that practice is going to be useless for the next couple months, just because there's going to be a lot of weird strategies moving around that are probably not going to be viable afterwards.
Yeah.
You think it's going to affect your practice too? Because a lot of Terrans have been saying the opposite.
I don't think it's going to affect my practice at all, actually. Like, for Terran, there's only a few maps where it's like, okay, now I can do this strategy instead. Like, the strategies are all pretty much the same regardless of the map. It's just on certain maps they'll be better. So like, by that I mean, if I play Sejong Station, I can do like a tank push behind the rocks and stuff in certain situations. On a normal map I can't do that, so, you know, I'm just going to be practicing anyway, and the builds are all pretty much the same right now in the current state of the game. Maybe I can do some extra cheesy things with the new maps, but no, I think it's fine. Like, I never really practice maps specifically, I just practice strategies, and yeah, it doesn't affect Terran. But that being said, they do need to get some serious maps. Yeah.
They do, I agree. Well, thanks for coming up and having this interview with us. Any shout-outs you got to your sponsors and people you like?
Yeah, sure. Big shout-out to Evil Geniuses. Been with them for almost 4 years now. Gave me this beautiful jersey, as you can see. Absolutely gorgeous. And yeah, thank you to all the sponsors on a serious note. Like, it's absolutely awesome. Thank you to all the fans. Thank you to anybody that's ever supported me. And yeah, StarCraft looks like it's going to a really good place pretty soon. So yeah, no worries, and good times. So thank you, thank you.
Thanks. Enjoy your tournament.
Cheers, thank you.
Thanks for watching, guys.